What's up, A to Z Sports Live on a Wednesday, which means Sam throwing shade yesterday, trivia today on a Wednesday, which is going to be a process for me to not mess up every week. But going to have a great show here on this Wednesday talking Titans in 4 week 1 issues the Titans better fix against the Chargers on Sunday. We'll go through it. Week 1 across the NFL is full of lies, as everybody is saying, and we'll kind of see how this goes as the Titans. We have identified, Sam and I have identified 4 struggles from the Titans in week 1 and how they can fix that. So we'll discuss all of this here on a Wednesday show. We'll also ask you guys which of these 4 problems are you most confident in the Titans fixing. So we're going to go through all that and then do our Wednesday sports trivia. Sam, do you think we're going to give a shot at the Immaculate Grid again today? Is that the plan?
Yeah, Immaculate Grid. See what it's talking about today. We've got NFL Immaculate Grid. See, I haven't taken a look at it yet, so we'll all be surprised together and get a chance to give it a go on a Wednesday. First Wednesday grid for the chat.
That's right. That's right. So let's get it going here on a Wednesday officially. But first, everybody's got to share the show, right?
Yeah, we got to share the show. So before we get going here on this Wednesday morning, make sure everybody does just that. If you're watching on Facebook, hit the share button. If you're watching on YouTube, send that YouTube link into a group chat to a Titans fan in your life or tweet it out. Retweet us at A to Z Sports. Get the word out there that A to Z Sports is live, that we're talking Titans, and that people need to join the A to Z Sports family. That's the best way to support us. It's the best way to continue growing this chat, continue growing and having great conversations each and every day. So make sure you guys do that before we get going here on a Wednesday.
Yep, let's do it officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered as always by the BetMGM app. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Sam Phelan of A to Z Sports.com, our Titans reporter. You'll head back over there to the St. Thomas Sports Park for Titans practice today. But we are Nashville's on-demand sports.network, and we go live every weekday morning at 8 Central on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. Also hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. Gotta thank our sponsors because they make it happen for us and they help out all of you. Like Wilson County Hyundai, make Wilson County Hyundai a part of your new car buying process by seeing them in Lebanon or online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Farm Bureau Health Plans get better with Farm Bureau Health Plans. That means better coverage rates and service at fbhp.com/ATOZ. The Aura app, keeping us all safe online, and you can get a 2-week free trial with Aura by using our link, aura.com/ATOZ. And Krebs Kubota, an elite Kubota dealer with 3 great locations in Middle Tennessee, Columbia, Franklin, and Murfreesboro online, KrebsKubota.com. There's been a lot of weird comments in the YouTube waiting room today before the show, but I did see this that is not a weird comment, is a good comment, because Titans Fox says on YouTube, hey, 46 people were waiting, but only 10 likes. Come on, people. And I usually like the show before we start, but I did not. So now I need to like the show. So if you have not liked the show, if you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube, go ahead and do that. But Sam, diving into week 2, I think it's around or middle of the week. It's that time to start looking at week 1 and how can you fix some problems for week 2. And we've identified 4 problems that the Titans had in week 1, and we're going to talk about which ones we're most confident in the Titans fixing in week 2. But first, you were a part of the press conferences on Monday, and Mike Vrabel had a pretty interesting comment about what week 1 across the NFL means overall.
Yeah, I mean, the Mike Vrabel, you said it right off the top, right? NFL week 1 is a liar. Like, there's a bunch of lies each and every year. You see it even this year with Kansas City losing, Buffalo losing. The Bengals looked horrific. Like, there's a lot of teams in week 1 that don't necessarily put forth an effort that is indicative of the rest of their season or what type of team they're going to be. So it's kind of difficult to sort through which teams are legitimately bad. I thought that, week 1 last year, the Denver Broncos poor showing, I was like, it's week 1, new quarterback, new head coach. It's just week 1. Turns out the team stunk. So, Mike Vrabel, Daniel Brunskill both gave some pretty good insight yesterday about the lies of week one, how a team can overcome week one, and why the NFL is so difficult to predict early on.
Yeah, and Sam, 5 NFL teams did not score an offensive touchdown in week one, including
Titans
the
were
Titans.
one of them.
The Titans, the Texans in their own division. Then you had the Bengals, they got their asses handed to them, the Giants, and then the Arizona Cardinals. The Texans and the Cardinals are trying their best to not score points this season. I guess the Texans not really, because the Cardinals have their draft pick. But anyway, so there's a lot of bad in the NFL in week one, but let's hear from Mike Vrabel about that parody you just set up.
It's a long season, Corey, and it was a great test of I think, a good football team on the road in an unbelievable environment. Could have been a lot better. Could have been a lot worse. Our job is to win the game. We didn't. But our guys fight. They compete, and we need to keep improving. And we say this all the time: the teams that improve are going to be the ones that are playing in January. 49ers and talking with Brunskill after the game, he's like, "Hey, coach," and I love getting to know Daniel and his story and just how he's gotten into this league. He's like, "Hey, coach, 49ers, they lost week one in Chicago, and we were playing late in the year." And I said, "I appreciate you reminding me that, Daniel."
Why do you think week one has a tendency to do that throughout the league, where you get some surprising results every year that seemingly aren't indicative of what a team ends up being? So in your experience, why is it difficult?
Because this is a unique league. This is a unique league. It's an 8-8 league, 9-8, 8-9, however you want to put it now with 17 games. But that's what the structure is. The structure is designed for parity. And maybe there's teams that are at full strength, or there's teams that maybe didn't quite prepare, or somebody hit some plays that they didn't see in practice, or teams continue to get better as the season goes on. Maybe they threw a different coverage at somebody. The ball security, right? You talk about maybe there's some fumbles, or in our case, in interceptions, right? That lead blocked punt, right? The things that we talked about that would really hurt us, that show up in week one, just because you're playing 70 snaps, and it's different than training camp and preseason.
So, Austin, I thought that was really interesting stuff from Mike Vrabel. Obviously, the NFL is built for parity, and that is the structure of the league, as you heard the head coach say at the end of the day. But the things that he references inside of that, where he says, well, maybe one team prepares better, maybe one team throws different coverages at them, maybe there's turnovers, a lot of different nuances that go into an NFL week one result going a surprising direction, or just an unexpected direction, a team maybe not looking as good as you thought, even down to, like he said, it's different than training camp or preseason. And so I think there's a lot of things here that you could potentially point to of saying, like, here's why the Titans weren't quite as good as they needed to be. Obviously, the interceptions that he referenced from Ryan Tannehill, a big factor there. Yeah. But I think a really good answer from the Titans head coach to put things into perspective about, like, yeah, Sunday was ugly, but that Sunday doesn't necessarily mean that things can't turn around in a hurry.
Yeah, this is the third consecutive season the Titans have started 0-1. Vrabel brought up the Daniel Brunskill conversation. So let's hear from Daniel Brunskill when he was asked about the Niners experience that he went through last year of losing week one to a team you're not supposed to lose to, and then making it to the NFC title game.
What were you guys thinking last year when you went through that one?
I mean, it was almost kind of similar situation. We had a young team, a lot of new guys to the team, and we had a lot to learn at that point in the game, and so I mean, at the end of the day, like, it's the NFL. I think any team can go out there and beat any team. It doesn't matter if you're favored by 20 points or not. Like, it's the NFL. So every team is capable of beating anybody. They have the star talent, and if they play right and they don't make the mistakes, they can go out and beat anybody. So I think at the end of the day, I think we made more mistakes than the Saints. Were they perfect? No, but at the same time, they were able to capitalize a couple times on some things, and we didn't capitalize on some of the things that could have won us the game. And I mean, for a 1-point game to be decided, any play could have changed that outcome. So I think at the end of the day, we have a lot to clean up, and if we can learn from those things, that's what's going to make the season great going forward. And that's, I think, any game in the NFL, what you can learn from the game is what we can take advantage of. But like the Chicago one, the Niners learned a lot, and they were able to change their season and go to the NFC Championship when a lot of people wouldn't have thought they did that on a third quarterback, but they still were able to do that. So, I mean, anything can happen. You can make things happen.
So, I mean, that game he's referencing, right? He's on the 49ers, and as Kick It to the King points out, that game was flooded out in Soldier Field. It was a weird, variable game that, like, you could hardly even throw the ball. It was like you were playing on a slip and slide the whole day. So, like, there were some weird things about that game that certainly probably impacted the results. But I think Daniel Brunskill makes a really cool point here as well of, like, what the San Francisco, like the panic level in San Francisco after a loss to the Bears, who had finished the season 3-14, was probably pretty high after week 1. The question is, where are your mistakes? What is correctable about your mistakes? And then how do you do about that turnaround, that next week turnaround of seeing how do we learn from this game and what things need to change quickly? Fun question for the Titans looking ahead to the Chargers.
Yeah, for sure. So let's go ahead and dive into this, because Sam and I identified as some of the comments in the YouTube waiting room pre-live was, what's taking so long? Oh, that's their pre-show meeting. And so in our pre-show meeting, we came up with 4 Titans issues from week 1. And so we're going to show these right here. 4 Titans issues from week 1. Quarterback play, pre-snap penalties, defensive X plays allowed, and Derrick Henry's usage. So this first question to you guys, which of these 4 are you most confident in the Titans fixing moving forward? So which of these 4, quarterback play, pre-snap penalties, defensive X plays allowed, and Derrick Henry's usage, are you most confident in the Titans fixing moving forward? We'll get to all your comments and ours as well. But first, let me tell you guys about Aura. Aura keeps me safe online. I don't get spam calls anymore. I get less junk mail in my email, and I get less junk mail in my mailbox at my house because I signed up with Aura back in the spring. They found 30 data brokers were selling my information to telemarketers and spammers and robocallers, and they stripped that away, my information from those data brokers in 5 or 6 days. That's all it took. But we're going to give you a 2-week free trial with Aura using our link, aura.com/ATOZ, a 2-week free trial. That's massive right there for you to get rid of those data brokers. Also set up with Aura's other features like password manager and protector, credit and identity theft monitoring. If you have kids at home, parental controls on devices as well. Aura can do it all. Aura.com/ATOZ for that 2-week free trial.
Today's show is powered by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Use the bonus code ATOZ Sports when you sign up with BetMGM, and you can get, are we ready for this?
Yeah.
$1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. It used to be $1,000. Now it's $1,500. That's an extra $500 up to an extra $500 in bonus bets. If your first bet doesn't win, you place that first wager with the bonus code ATOZ Sports. And even if the bet loses, you're good. Money back into your account up to $1,500 and a second chance to win big. They're keep sweetening the pot, keep sweetening the deal over at BetMGM. The king of sportsbooks. Get with them at betmgm.com.
All right, so Sam, we're going to show this graphic again. Titans week 1 issues that we identified and categorized them into 4 issues: quarterback play, pre-snap penalties, defensive X plays allowed, and Derrick Henry's usage. So we want to ask you guys, and have asked you guys, and you guys have your comments ready, which of these 4 are you most confident in the Titans fixing moving forward? So Sam, I will send you to the chat. What are the people saying here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch?
We've got Stephen King coming in with quarterback play. Same with John. Eric says it's pre-snap penalties. Henry's usage from Trevor and Scott and Ashley. We got pre-snap penalties from Ir Hoshi, from Luman, from Ryan. Derrick Henry's usage from Lewis. We got pre-snap from Lucas, pre-snap from Titans Kyle. Henry's usage from Curtis, pre-snap from Eddie, from Maven, from Andre, from Andrew. Jonathan's coming in with Henry's usage. Same with Den, same with John. Eric says he trusts Tannehill. It's the quarterback play for him. The King, pre-snap penalties, Henry's usage, pre-snap penalties, Henry's usage. We are split pretty much down the middle between these two, between Henry, and then you get the occasional quarterback play here. And then pre-snap penalties is the other one. I feel like
quarterback play is getting a lot more than I honestly expected it to.
There's a handful. I have not seen anybody say defensive X plays.
Real quick, let me go to Kick It to the King Productions says, what does that mean? Defensive X plays allowed. Gave up 16 points, score more points, dog. Well, it's because
points allowed wasn't bad, but they gave up at least 5 X plays.
And what is an X play? Because you'll hear Vrabel and Titans players say that throughout the year. An X play is a explosive play that they have abbreviated shorter, which means a offensive play of 20 yards or more in the passing game. Sometimes people can say an X.
It's a run of 10 or a pass of 20, but I know they gave up 5 20-yard or more passes.
And there were 2 plays that were 19 yards. So it was 7 of 19 yards or more, including a couple 40-yarders there. And the third down conversion late that iced the game for the Saints. So that's what an X play is. So I think
was honestly a lot of New Orleans offense. Like, if we're being honest with how often the Titans were pressuring and getting after Derek Carr, with how they stopped the run, like there wasn't really anything there except for just like big chunk plays to Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, and Michael Thomas, where they were, finding their way open and burning you for 20 at a time. And you have a couple of those on a possession, you're going to get points. So yeah, X plays were a big issue. And I think an even more concerning issue, because you talked about them all off season of like, hey, we have to prevent X plays. They were so bad at it last year. And then you come out and you give up 7 basically explosive passes in week 1. I mean, that's horrible.
Well, and so remember, because somebody, I just want to go through some comments on the X play thing, because I don't think X plays is the top of the issues. It was an issue, right? But Jags got juice says nobody cares if they're giving up X plays if they didn't allow 20 points. But I'll give you a scenario. Jags got juice, who is a Jags fan that watches our show, and we appreciate that and like your involvement here. So here's an example. The Titans had the Saints deep into their own territory, 3rd and long, 3rd and passing, an opportunity for the Titans defense to get off the field. What happened? They got a big 3rd down conversion to Chris Olave, I believe it was, or maybe it was Johnson, who ran down the sideline across midfield. The Saints then got themselves into field goal territory via that X play. And then Mike Vrabel declined the holding penalty and allowed them to kick the 52-yard field goal. So X play leads to a field goal.
Outside of I know points allowed, obviously the most relevant stat. Like you'd rather give up X plays and not give up points than just get 6-yard runs all day to give up 30. But there is a factor, an element to this too, of kind of what you said, flipping the field.
Yep.
I mean, you could be in a 3rd down and 8 from your own 27-yard line. You get an X play, all of a sudden you're at midfield, and a punt at that point is going to pin the Titans deep. So there are elements to X plays that flip the field. And on a day that the Titans aren't clicking on all cylinders offensively, you're not exactly driving 85 yards the length of the field to score a touchdown. Field position is something that the Titans rely on a lot in order to win games. If you can't pin an opponent deep and actually trust that they have to earn their yards, you don't want to give them a big chunk that flips the field on one play. You want to make them put a drive together. So there are elements there that are really backbreaking for a team over the course of 4 quarters.
All right. So again, the graphic here, Titans week 1 issues that we identified pre-show: quarterback play, pre-snap penalties, defensive X plays allowed, Derrick Henry's usage. We're asking you, what are you most confident in being fixed in week 2. I want to spend some more time on the quarterback play answers because that kind of shocked me. I did want to give credit to Sean Gill. If I can go back and find his comment, my comments jumped on me accidentally with, technology type of deal. But Sean Gill, I can't find it, but he said, if you fix the pre-snap penalties, you will then fix the Derrick Henry usage. That, yes, those two are
nice
tied
note.
together. That's a very smart comment there from our guy Sean Gill. Hey, what's up, TD? TD in the house here watching the show on Facebook. It says, look at the final X play. It didn't get points, but it put the Saints in position to bleed the clock.
Yeah.
Bingo. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not always leads directly to points, but it can completely shift the vibe of a game and burn your defense. So like keep them on the field extra, burn clock, whatever it is. So those are certainly, I look at 16 points and I say, yeah, you'll take that. I look at 7. I'm going to count those 19 yarders and I'm going to say 7 X plays. And I say that's a problem, especially when you've got Chris Harris and every DB in that room saying we've got to prevent that this year.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to find it fast enough, I don't think. But, we can go look at how many, what percentage of yards did those 7 plays count for? Because the Titans defense was phenomenal.
Well, think about it. What did Carr have? Carr had 310 passing.
305. 305.
All right. So, 305 passing.
So I've got
passes were at least half of his yards.
Yeah. So Olave and Shaheed, their longs combined for 86. Michael Thomas and Johnson's longs combined for 52. So, Sam, I'll let you do math while I continue to add. So,
138.
50. Okay. Thank you. And then there were 3 more of at least 19 or more. So, there's another 60.
So, at least 200 passing yards on 7 throws.
2/3.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's not good.
So, that's pretty wild. Cameron asked, did anybody else's stream freeze? Hopefully it's just you, Cam. I'm not really sure if that's anything going on with us. But all right, so Sam, to my answer first of these, which am I most confident in the Titans fixing? Honestly, I think it's the easiest to fix here are the 2 you have the most coaching control over, which is pre-snap penalties and Derrick Henry usage. So my official answer is going to say, I think the pre-snap penalties is the easiest thing to fix from one week to the next. Obviously, playing at home is going to help. And you're playing against the Chargers that do not have a fan base that will travel because they don't even go to their own games in LA. So I think the Titans will have as friendly of an environment, if you're not Ryan Tannehill, in the stadium.
Yeah, as friendly of an environment as long as you don't go 3 and out.
Yeah, as long as you don't throw an interception on the first drive or something like that. But they're gonna be able to avoid the pre-snap penalties. Now, when you go to Cleveland next week in week 3, now you're gonna be back in the dog pound. That's gonna be a lot more, lively, not quite Superdome, but should be pretty good, especially if the Browns can get a win this upcoming week. I don't know who they play, but so I do think fixing pre-snap penalties is important. And I think that's the easiest thing to solve from 1 week to week 2. And so that's where I say on that. Tehran back in here on Facebook saying, agreed, pre-snap penalties not in the Superdome will decrease. A lot of guys said the crowd noise was crazy.
Brunskill said it's top 5. It's top 5 environment noise-wise in the league. Seattle's is up there. Arrowhead is up there. The Superdome, as our Buck Rising said, you can hear at the field level, you can hear something on the field from up in the press box. Like the way that sound radiates in the Superdome creates for a very hostile environment. So yeah, you're at home, you shouldn't have pre-snap penalties the way you do in New Orleans. 5 false starts or 4 false starts, at least something like that.
Yeah.
That was a mess. And as I forgot who made the comment in the chat
that I just showed.
No, pointed the Henry's usage being impacted. I want to make sure. Make sure I shout him out. Okay, but that's what you have to point to when you look at Derrick Henry's touches in the second half. I think there was a drive that the Titans got into there. I think it was late in the 3rd quarter, maybe early 4th, that they were ready to go and reestablish the run with Derrick Henry, really put together a drive, from the ground game. And I think they had a first down carry for 3 yards, go on a 2nd and 7, false start, back it up to 2nd and 12. You're not going to run in that spot. So Tajay Spears comes out. Now you're in a 3rd and long. And those kind of situations, I think, snowballed on them a little bit to get them away from Derrick Henry. But we all know Derrick Henry's your best offensive weapon. He's the best thing you've got going for you on offense. You don't want to get away from him. Sometimes the situation of the game means you have to, like that's kind of what it calls for, but you want to put yourself in more manageable situations so that Tim Kelly's playbook is more open, wide open, where he can do Derrick Henry between the tackles. He can do Tajay Spears off tackle. He can do outside zone. He can do screen passes. He can do timing routes to DeAndre Hopkins. Like there's a lot more at his disposal on a 3rd and 2 versus a 3rd and 9, as we all know.
Yeah. All right. So, Sam, I want you to answer the question here in a second. We're asking, of these Titans week 1 issues, which are you most confident in them fixing in heading into week 2? Quarterback play, pre-snap penalties, defensive X plays allowed, which means a pass play of 20-plus yards or a run of 10. The Titans were counting 7 pass plays of 19 yards or more. And then Derrick Henry's usage. So, Sam, I want your answer here in a second, but first tell us all about the Bone and Joint Institute.
The Bone and Joint Institute, don't fumble on your recovery. They're the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. You can visit them out in Franklin or at boneandjointtn.org. The Bone and Joint Institute has a state-of-the-art rehab facility to assist in your recovery with everything all under one roof, from a clinic to rehab, image, surgery, testing. It's all out there in Franklin, a great facility with great knowledgeable doctors to help you not fumble on your recovery. You're not driving all over Middle Tennessee to go to your different appointments. You just go to one spot. It's a one-stop shop for all of your needs. Schedule an appointment with them at boneandjointtn.org.
Hey, with BetMGM, Sam already said it. They've upped the ante on their first bet offer. So with our bonus code, sign up with BetMGM using our bonus code ATOZ, up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet misses. So with that first bet offer, go big, because if you lose, you ain't going home. You're going to get all that money back in bonus bets. If you win, congratulations. You just doubled your money most likely, and now you're off to a great start with your BetMGM career. And even if you lose, you get that bonus bet back. That's a big deal. So they went from $1,000 to $1,500. So bonus code ATOZ Sports, you get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet misses with code ATOZ Sports. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 or older, Tennessee only. New customer offer. All promotions, subject to qualification, and other requirements. First online real money wager only. Rewards issued at non-withdrawable bonus bets. Bonus bets expires 7 days. And for problem game support, call Tennessee Redline 800-889-9789. Sam, your answer to which week 1 issue are you most confident in the Titans fixing is what?
So, I mean, I think pre-snap penalties is the easiest answer because I think it's the most fixable naturally. But I will say I do believe very strongly that Derrick Henry's usage will be much better in week 2 than it was last week. I don't think we're going to be complaining about this time next week. Mike Vrabel talked about it on Monday that, you know, when you look at the rate at which Derrick carried the ball, his average per carry, the big play in the passing game, all of those numbers would suggest to a coaching staff, hey, we need to get this guy the ball more often. So I know we've talked a lot about how Tajay Spears has proven himself both as a pass blocker, pass catcher. They like how explosive he is on the perimeter. The bread and butter of this Titans offense is Derrick Henry, and it still is Derrick Henry. I think they know that. So just because one game was not quite what Titans fans would have had in mind, I think this is going to correct itself and that they'll come back to the norm next week. So I for the sake of, kind of deviating from your answer and what I think is the easiest answer on the board, I will say Derrick Henry's usage will be better against the Chargers. Who, by the way, can rush the passer, but their run defense, not good.
Well, I mean, they gave up 36 points to the Dolphins. Tua threw for 466.
True.
True. Now, the Dolphins didn't run the ball very well, but that's not what
they
Dolphins
don't run the
do.
ball. So,
They throw the ball 45 times in a game. And, look, I have on my docket today to do a lot more research on that Chargers week 1 loss where they, total points of 70 in that game compared to total points of 31 in the Titans game against the Saints. So very different. So I think, when Vrabel, Zach and I talking yesterday about Vrabel saying, well, we didn't use Derrick Henry as much because we were down, we had to score. And I'm thinking like, well, yeah, I mean, Derrick Henry is your best option to score. And I think if you're the Titans this week, you want to make sure that your drives can sustain and you can score touchdowns unlike last week. And I think Derrick Henry is a great option to do that.
All right, let's talk about the red zone too, because last year we talked like Todd Downing, awful, right? Like at OC. But the one thing you had to tip your cap to Downing on was the Titans' efficiency in the red zone. They didn't get there very often, but they scored when they were there. And a lot of that was riding Derrick Henry, and having a back like Derrick Henry in the red zone produced a lot of scores for them. They went away from Derrick Henry in the red zone on Sunday, and as a result, did not score in the red zone and were not productive down there. It was a field goal fest. So, if you want to find pay dirt, give the ball to 22 down at, when you're at the 15-yard line, that's where you go. I would have liked to see that more, even right off the bat, right? Amani Hooker forces that forced fumble on the opening kick, comes away with a big turnover. The Titans run 3 plays, go backwards 8 yards, kick a 50-yard field goal. They didn't give the ball to Derrick once on that first series.
And I think the Derrick Henry usage and pre-snap penalties, like Sean said earlier in the show, that one series is where I point at, and I said this yesterday with Zach, Sam, is that I think the Titans, in hindsight, had too quick of a trigger to take Henry out. Like 1st and 15 on the 29-yard line going in. Don't just say abort, Tajay, get in, Henry out.
Yeah.
Like that was too reactive, in my opinion. You're still in a good spot to keep Henry in there because of the down and distance and where you're at. I think. And
when they got in a rhythm giving Derrick the ball early on, I mean, I was like, how can you not keep going back to this? He was an automatic 6-7 yards at one point, in the second quarter, where they were just giving him the ball and everything was a substantial gain, driving them down the field. You get them that one pass in the screen game, it goes for 48 yards or whatever it went for it. It was explosive. And so it was very odd that with as much success as Derrick had, as bad as some of the pass protection was, as uncomfortable as Ryan Tannehill looked in the pocket, that you didn't want to run the ball more. But, hopefully I think they've learned their lesson here.
All right, so let's get to some super chats because I find some things interesting because I was surprised, Sam, to see that there were as many Ryan Tannehill answers to our question of which week 1 issue are you most confident in being fixed, right? Most confident in being fixed. There were way more Ryan Tannehill quarterback play answers.
The fact that there was any Ryan Tannehill answers was a surprise to me, given what we have seen from our chat over the last few days.
Yeah, because our chat looks like, Andre with his super chat. If Tanny is pissing down his leg again, you don't leave the most dominant running back in recent memory on the sideline. Like Marshawn said, run through an MF or face. And then I see this, this is just sad. 619 days since the Titans scored 30 plus in a game. Oof, man. That's a long
do you
time.
remember last game that happened?
No, because it wasn't week 18 and 21. They went to the Texans and won, but only scored 28.
That would have been my guess here.
No, because Tannehill threw 4 touchdown passes, and that's all they had.
It's the week before, 34-3 win over Miami on January 2nd, 2022.
Yikes.
So,
yeah. And then,
right? Because they didn't do it last year. So,
right. Kicker of the King says, no matter your yardage given up, this defense holds the Chargers to 14-20. There's zero excuse to lose Sunday, score touchdowns. And then Terrell says, please tell me how Ryan Tannehill's a starting quarterback. He's terrible. What did he do good last week? And then Balls of Ours thought Tannehill is rusty, will be better. Malik is just awful in general. So, Sam, I'm guessing you were surprised to see that people, at least a portion of people, were confident in Ryan Tannehill's rebound.
I don't hate it. I don't hate the opinion. Ryan Tannehill's problems on Sunday really are somewhat inexplicable to me. And we've talked about it at length already, but he just didn't look like himself. And you said it on our postgame show. You felt foolish because this isn't the guy that we saw in the preseason or, well, I guess training camp, right?
Mhm.
We watched a lot of live reps during training camp and didn't see Ryan Tannehill make those poor decisions, have that little juice on the ball, look that uncomfortable in the pocket, seemingly physically deteriorate in his speed and athleticism. It was a very weird showing for a guy that I had a lot of confidence in coming into the season. So I'm not that surprised to see Titans fans freaking out and hitting the panic button on Ryan Tannehill. But I don't hate the opinion of feeling like he can improve, because until I have a bigger sample size, I have to believe he's not the guy he showed he was on Sunday.
Yeah.
I'd like to believe that, because that was, I mean, it was bad in just about every area. So, yeah, you can rip Ryan Tannehill's Sunday performance all you want. He didn't really do much of anything good. You just kind of hope it was an anomaly.
Yeah, and I said throughout the game day live show that me and Jack are going to be on. We'll talk more about that. Announcement on Thursday, by the way, for Titan Game Day Live for week 2. So announcement time tomorrow during the show. But I said, I was like, I think Ryan Tannehill has bad offensive line PTSD. And, statistically, analytically, the O-line protected pretty well. And they were like top 6 to top 5 in the league in week 1. I don't know. I saw more leakage than maybe Pro Football Focus's numbers do. But anyway, I think Ryan Tannehill made it worse than maybe what
I
it
do
actually
think
was.
he made it worse. I do think he failed to maneuver and manipulate the pocket, which is something that the Titans have made a point of emphasis, right? Inside out blocking and inside out pass protection. And your quarterback needs to be able to step up, buy himself some extra time, maneuver in the pocket, and then deliver a good football. Ryan Tannehill looked like he got panicked anytime there was some sort of pressure coming off the edge.
Yeah.
And instead of stepping up, keeping his eyes downfield, delivering a good ball, had happy feet back there when he was like, so it was a weird sort of vibe for him. But with what the Titans have tried to do up front on the offensive line, he needs to be better. And I think he made that look a lot worse than it probably was. So, it wasn't great.
Jesse says, you don't just magically get ball velocity back when you can't firmly plant and deliver. You can't make the throws outside of the hashes. Fair, factual comment. Yes. True. But I don't think Ryan Tannehill lost his physical ability to throw with good velocity. I just think he was mentally pretzeled and wasn't letting it go. I think it was a mental block on playing freely, because Sam, I want to play a video from training camp. Do you remember that super windy day in early August when I sat there and watched Tannehill, Willis, and Levis throw back to back to back in the wind, and Ryan Tannehill's ball cut through the wind accurately where the other two younger guys didn't? Do it. I just think mentally he was messed up.
I think there was a comment there that I think was part of that comment that I think is really important, which is his ability to plant. And I think that goes back to what I was talking about with his pocket presence and how he maneuvers back there. You have to step, like you're making those throws to the boundaries. You have to step into those throws. You're throwing one of those deep balls to Chris Moore, DeAndre Hopkins. You have to step into those balls, make sure you get enough on it, and make sure you give your guy a shot. The way Ryan Tannehill was looking back there with his pocket presence made me feel like he was almost like throwing not off his back foot, but just not really getting all the way into his throws. That one to the sideline, to the boundary. A couple, what'd we say, 2 balls also to the boundary that should have been picked off that were not, or were like that close, including one by Ugo Amadi. because that's what we're doing now, is almost throwing interceptions to Ugo Amadi, who couldn't even make the Titans team last year for more than 2 games. Like Ryan Tannehill, I think it all comes back down to how comfortable he is sitting behind his protection. And if he steps into those throws, it's not an issue of does he have enough juice to get the ball there.
Yeah. And Jaron says practice is practice. Wasn't no live bullets flying for real. And
which is fair though.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
again, like the point, but the point is
pass rush coming after him there,
right? But the point is he physically can. That's the point I was trying to make.
Yeah,
it's not like Ryan Tannehill got old over the summer. He physically can, because that wind was nuts. You could hear it in the video. The wind was crazy that day, and the 2 younger quarterbacks who have strong arms were struggling with it. Tannehill was not. He was throwing the ball and cutting it right through.
I don't doubt his physical ability.
That's the only point I was
making. Comes down to
it's all mental.
It's mental, but how does his mental affect footwork and mechanics, and how do those mechanics affect throw velocity and ball placement? Because it all works together. And so like, that's what it, hopefully it's fixable.
Like Paladin says, his feet looked like cement bricks. And did his arm strength decrease by 50%, or is it just me nose up on the ball? Well, when your feet are stuck in the mud, your arm can only do so much. And so I think it's all about, can he get his mentally pretzel thing unwound and be fine and play free and confident? That's where the jump and the rebound can make. All right. So by the way, let's switch gears from week 1's negativity and let's look at positives, because it seems like the Tennessee Titans have hit gold in free agency.
They have a dog, certified dog, as I would like to say.
Absolutely. We are going to drop some insane stats about new Titan Arden Key. But first, let me tell you guys about Krebs Kubota. Krebs Kubota, they are an elite Kubota dealer with 3 great locations in Murfreesboro, in Columbia, and in Franklin. And speaking of Franklin, Kubota has their field event coming up on Saturday, just a few more days away. This Saturday, September 16th. You can demo equipment in Franklin with Krebs Kubota at Delory Farms off of Wilson Pike. So fun. I mean, if you've got young kids, bring the kids. If you're a young kid yourself as an adult, go be your best young self and go out there and jump on a 0-turn mower, a compact tractor, a utility tractor, utility vehicles, and just demo some fun Krebs Kubota equipment. Again, their field event is coming up Saturday, September 16th. It is 10 a.m. through 3 p.m. At Delory Farms off Wilson Pike in Franklin. It's free. You just go to the website to register to get there, and all you got to do is bring yourself, bring your family, maybe some sunscreen and some bug spray out there, because Krebs Kubota has their field event coming up. I just dropped the link to that right there in the chat for you guys that want to go try that out. So check them out at KrebsKubota.com.
Today's show powered by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Use the bonus code ATOZ Sports when you sign up with BetMGM and get up to 1,500. BetMGM, this new deal that they've got going on is throwing me off. I was in, I'm like a machine here, thinking $1,000 back. They went 150% of their previous offer, so $1,500 in bonus bets back. If your first bet doesn't win, you place your first wager with the bonus code ATOZ Sports. You see it down there on the graphic. Place that first wager, and even if it loses, you're good. The money's back in your account with a second chance to win big, up to $1,500. You can make it a $1,500 bet, and then you got 2 chances to win $1,500 or whatever it is, that whatever bet is sticking out to you. That's the best way to get involved with sports gambling and a sports book, is when the risk is limited. You get multiple chances to win big. So it's betmgm.com and the BetMGM app for the king of sportsbooks and the bonus code ATOZ Sports.
All right. So Sam, we knew Arden Key was fun. We knew Arden Key was a great quote. We knew Arden Key had a great training camp, but Arden Key is a rising star. In the NFL. And these stats show it from Next Gen Stats. This was put out this morning that I saw this come across my timeline. Quarterback pressure leaders since week 14 of last season. Arden Key, 3rd in the entire NFL, just 2 off the league leading pace, behind Hassan Reddick Micah Parsons, above Nick Bosa, and above Josh Allen of the Jags there. Arden Key is a bona fide rising star in the NFL because in his last two regular season games, Sam, he has set career highs in quarterback pressures. He had 9 quarterback pressures in week 18 against the Titans in the last game of the regular season a year ago, and then a new career high in an NFL league-wide 11 pressures in week 1 with 1.5 sacks. Should have been 2.5 sacks and a forced fumble, but that rush on Carr counted to one of his 11 pressures. Arden Key looks like a hidden gem that the Titans have now officially unlocked on the rest of the league.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big credit to, I think, Rand Carthon and Mike Vrabel and the Titans scouting department with their pro scouting, finding a guy like Arden who they saw upside in. They saw, a strong finish to the season. They saw a guy who could really complement Jeffrey Simmons and Danico Autry and build something really, really strong on that front four. And he's certified, man. Arden is the real deal. He is as advertised. The energy that you get from him on the practice field is the same energy you get from him in the regular season in the games. Third down, that's his down. That's when he's the most dangerous. That's when he's getting after passers. And the Titans need a whole lot of that. They need that juice. So 1.5 sacks, it still doesn't sit right with me that it's not 2.5. Arden deserved 2.5 for his performance. But
he also, with that, that specific play, we have our Mint Gaming Titan bingo board on game days this year.
He would have checked off quite a few
That
boxes.
one specific play would have changed a ton
2
on our
sacks,
Mint Gaming bingo.
Defensive touchdown. What else would have
potentially a road win, NFC win, and underdog win?
True.
All in one play.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Austin, these numbers don't lie to me. Since week 14, this is no longer just like a 1, 2, 3 week sample size. This is 6 games, a third of an NFL season that Arden Key has been right up there in the conversation with some of the most effective pass rushers in the NFL. So, yeah, you see it at the bottom, 11 QB pressures against the Saints. That's a career high, 4 more than any other player in the league. This is a legitimate piece. I'm pumped to continue watching the Titans rush the passer in 2023 because between him and Jeff and Danico and Harold Landry, when he starts getting a few more snaps under his belt and starts to look like Harold of old, this is a dangerous group.
Yeah, super. And let's just kind of look at this in a different way too, Sam, real quick. Arden Key came directly from the Jags, right? He was with the Jags last year, but he started his career with the San Francisco 49ers. That's where the Rand Carthon connection is. Right now it's Key, Aziz, and Brunskill, who are all former 49ers that are a key part of this first Rand Carthon Titans roster. You go back to maybe, arguably, probably the best free agent signing the Tennessee Titans organization has had in Nashville, Delaney Walker from San Francisco.
Yeah.
There's, a pipeline of underrated dudes from San Fran coming to the Titans and working out is on its way to the number 4. If these 3 guys continue, do what?
Well, I said Aziz, right? Like, I mean,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It starts with Delaney Walker, but then you got these 3 guys of Key, Aziz, and Brunskill. Who, Brunskill is probably the least.
I think your former 49er executive general manager has something to do with that, but
totally. But again, like,
not a bad team to take guys from, take underrated players from. I mean, the Niners, this is what they've done under John Lynch, and this is what Rand was so good at with them is finding the value towards the mid levels of the free agent pool, to the late rounds of the draft, like drafting guys like Talanoa Hufanga, who is like still a star and making plays. And I think they drafted him in like the 6th or 7th round. Like this is kind of what they do with the Niners.
And Sam, I want to ask you a question too, but Billy says it's just one game, Austin. Yeah, it's just one game, but Arden Key and Aziz have had phenomenal camps where Aziz is a captain and Arden Key is an energizer bunny for this team. And Autry's phenomenal too, but that didn't come from the San Francisco 49ers. But so Sam, there was a stat that we compiled that you found and we talked about. You wrote about it back in the spring. I don't know if you remember it, but it was like the production in free agent signings that the Niners had versus the dollars they spent in free agent was like tops of the league.
It was it's based off of the footballreference.com stat of approximate value, which is fair, a flawed stat in some ways. It's not as accurate as like a WAR is in baseball. A WAR is a great stat in baseball because it can apply to a pitcher, a position player, any position, and assign a value to that player. So it gives you a good idea of what every specific player is worth. That's kind of what the goal is of approximate value. Like I said, it's still not quite as controlled as WAR is. But it does give you generally a good idea into how impactful players are on their teams. And so the stat was based off of free agent dollars spent compared to the cumulative approximate value each team got from those free agent signings. The 49ers were number one in the NFL in approximate value per dollar. They spent towards the bottom of the league. Their value they got from their free agent signings towards the top of the league. Mm-hmm. Tennessee, dead last in value per free agent signed. So they had spent big on guys like Bud Dupree and a number of guys that they'd given big deals in free agency and then just not gotten huge returns on their investment. It was something I was really excited to see Rand do in free agency. He seemingly did that by targeting the type of players he did. And now you're seeing people like Key and Aziz return on investment pretty good so far. So it's exciting stuff.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So asking a question now with Arden Key has 1.5 sacks. How many sacks is he going to get? But first, let me tell you guys about Farm Bureau Health Plans. Farm Bureau Health Plans, plan on them for health, dental, vision, any of it, all of the above. Farm Bureau Health Plans has got you covered. They've been serving Tennesseans across the entire state for over 75 years, and they can help you out as well with whatever your life stage or situation is, financial or family or just growth, whatever that might be. Farm Bureau Health Plans can find the right plan for you for the right cost and the right coverage. A lot of times you get better coverage and less cost. That's the best of both worlds. Customer service is also out of this world when it comes to Farm Bureau Health Plans. Once again, they've been doing it for so long, over 75 years. They've near perfected it. It's so easy to get started with a health assessment that takes 20 or 30 minutes, and you can do it from the comfort of your home. Don't even have to put pants on to go get a new health coverage from Farm Bureau Health Plans at fbhp.com/ATOZ.
I don't know where that came from. My goodness.
If you can do things without pants, that's a good thing.
True. Hey, I generally agree.
Yes.
BetMGM also can be done without pants. You can use the bonus code ATOZ Sports and get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. You use that bonus code ATOZ Sports when you sign up and place your first wager up to $1,500. And even if it loses, that money goes back into your account. You get a second chance to win big. So this is the best way to get with any sports book or get involved with sports betting. With the NFL in full swing, college football in full swing, and Major League Baseball playoffs coming up, make sure you get with BetMGM and use the bonus code ATOZ Sports.
All right, so we're going through how many sacks will Arden Key have this season. He started with 1.5. Orlando says 1.5 each game, 35 sacks. Now, that's not the correct math. That would be over 2 sacks a game, but your joke landed.
Yeah, were we 25 at about 1.5 per game, something like that?
25.5, because you can have half sacks, right? So 25.5 technically would be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds right. We've got how many sacks will Arden Key have this season? 11.5, 11 from Eric, 9.5 from Brad, 13, 15, 11, 10 to 14, 11.5, 10, 9, 12.5, 11.5, 10.5 sounds right. 9, more than 9 from Dwight, 12, 12, 13.5, 17, 7 from Guy, 6, 17 from Valentino, 12, 12 from Bork, 11 from Jacob Ray, 12 from Pistol Ramsey, 11 from Satau, 12 from Linwood. These are big numbers, Austin.
Huge.
We're talking 11, 12, 13. I'm going to say 9.5.
You're saying 9.5?
9.5 is my number.
Do you know how many guys had 9.5 or more last season in the league?
That's a good question.
I got it.
33.
How many?
33.
Less, actually.
17.
1 second.
You can't ask me the question.
Well, no, I'm sure because they have there's 5 guys that had 9.5 exactly. So I got to count how many that is to add to the big number.
Okay.
24.
Okay.
5 guys tied with 9.5. So that's what I had to do. I had to count how many 20s there were. But yeah, so 24 players had 9.5 or more sacks. If you want to go to the 15 number, that's like top 5. 6.
Yeah,
6 guys.
I don't think he's in that top. I think
guys
it's
had
the
5,
9.5 range in sacks.
Yeah. Nick Bosa, 18.5. Hassan Reddick, 16. Myles Garrett, 16. Chris Jones, Judon had 15.5. Alex Highsmith of Pittsburgh, 14.5. Micah Parsons, who is a freaking beast, had 13.5. So I think if Arden Key can get to 11, that's where I think it's a big freaking deal.
Yeah, that's a big number, though. I don't think he gets to 11. I think there's too many guys on that defensive front.
Yeah,
too many sacks to go around.
He's the fastest.
But being the fastest doesn't always result in being the guy that gets sacks. I mean, you can chase a quarterback right into the arms of Big Jeff. You can chase a guy into the arms of Danico like he did at least once on Sunday.
They're playing quarterbacks that can get sacked, though. You know, the tough quarterbacks to sack on the roster, on the schedule, are Deshaun Watson, Joe Burrow, that the Titans have sacked a lot, but maybe not right now. So yeah,
Lamar Jackson is tough.
Yeah, so Watson, Jackson,
Kenny Pickett.
Kenny Pickett's kind of scrambly. Trevor Lawrence is a tough one to sack.
Bryce Young, of that, Anthony Richardson.
Tua,
not as many as you thought.
No, I think you can sack Tua. They sacked Tua 2 years ago when they scored 30 points in a game.
You can, you can.
They have
anybody,
and
but
so
I'm just like they're not. It's not like we're playing Matt Ryan again. Like we're not seeing Matt Ryan trot out there as a statue in the pocket. I mean,
I think
you're dealing with Anthony Richardson, C.J. Stroud, and Bryce Young.
I think he has 11.
11. That's a big number. I would be impressed if Arden Key got to 11. That would be huge. I think we were going to ask this follow-up already, Austin, which is, do I change my prediction for Titans sack leader? No. I still think Big Jeff leads the team.
Wow. I am
as good as Arden Key was. He had a half sack more than Big Jeff yesterday.
Yeah, but we know he was robbed. He would have had a sack and a half more than Big Jeff.
Jeff is inevitable. Jeffrey Simmons is inevitable. He's gonna. I think Jeff gets to double digits this year.
I'm starting to think Arden Key is inevitable at this point too.
I think Arden Key is great and has been awesome for them. I think Jeffrey Simmons is inevitable, and I think 10 to 11 is a number for Jeff that I can see. I think Arden and Danico were both in the 8 to 10 range, probably somewhere around 9.5, which is where I have Arden, which is a great year for the Titans up front, especially when you factor in Harold and Weaver and Gibson and whoever else is rushing the passer. If T or Tart can get a couple. So
that's fine. So you're sticking with your guns.
I am. I'm going to stick with my guns and go with Big Jeff until, maybe if Arden was at 2.5 right now, I would change my mind, but we're only a half sack back. I feel good about Big Jeff.
Yeah. I guess that's fair, but man, he got freaking robbed. We all know that's 2.5.
So it would bother the heck out of me as an athlete.
Yeah.
If I knew these guys care about their numbers, of course, especially when you're trying to set career highs and reach different milestones.
Yeah.
I watch baseball all the time and I'm like, dude, if I hit a home run and got robbed of a home run, I would not be able to stop. I'd be in my head. I'd be thinking about it nonstop. Man, I should have so many home runs on the year instead of how many I actually have because I got robbed that one time. My stats would be in my head constantly. So I'd be Arden and be like, man, it should be at 2.5 right now instead of 1.5. I would
See,
not do well with the idea of.
You can ask him this in the locker room this week, and it's like, how do you feel about that sack getting robbed? Is that something that's gonna stick with you? I got to get that back. That's something for content for a later day. But all right, Sam.
Yeah, but see, does that work though? Because I'd be like, oh, I got to get that back. Then you get it back, and you're like, well, that should have been another one. Now I should have 3.5. Now I should have 4.5.
Nothing's wrong with him chasing that vacant sack that he should have had. But
True.
Anyway, let's get to Wednesday sports trivia on the show. Sam, the Immaculate Grid. Let's get it fired up here to wrap up this Wednesday. Sports trivia after our little flip-flop here. Tuesday is now Shade Day. Wednesday is now Trivia Day, presented by Wilson County Hyundai. Make Wilson County Hyundai a part of your new car buying process. Go see our friend Payne Bone and his team in Lebanon or online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. So, Sam, we are playing the Immaculate Grid. Real quick, as you pull that up, Andre says extend key before the price goes up. Well, you got him for 3 years, so you don't have to extend him for a while. I think the thing is
you're in a good spot there.
To get his best, and then is he going to be the same type of edge rusher after 3 years? Probably not. But hey, good comment by Andre. All right, Sam, you have the Immaculate.
Hey,
what?
Trevor, buddy, I'm trying to rep the brand a little bit here. I've got hats. I've got hats for days, man. I'm just trying to show a little bit of A to Z love here. No free ads. I'm not showing any of those logos on the morning show. We're going with the A to Z hat. So never is the answer to question 1. Here's the grid for the day.
Okay.
We've got Buffalo, Seattle, Buffalo, Dallas, Buffalo, Washington. Then the Bengals with that same set, and then a Super Bowl champion from the Seahawks, Cowboys, and Commanders/Redskins. So let's do it how we did it last time, right? Let's start top left and let's go across.
Okay.
Let's go left to right and then go down to our second row. So
is Tehran still here?
Tehran is good at these.
Paging Tehran.
Whenever we do these in the media room, nobody can beat Terry McCormick. I mean, that man has a poll from like the 1960s every single time that is doesn't even have a picture on here. Yeah, but TD knows his stuff here.
I might just text Ron.
Seahawks, Bills, chat. We need to come with a Seahawk that also played for the Bills. Marshawn Lynch, the obvious one.
Yeah.
Do we want to go easy?
Orlando says he's lost on the goal. The goal is to fill up these boxes with the least obvious answer possible. It's like Marshawn Lynch, while would fill the box, would not do very well.
Right. We don't want to spend too much time on it because we've got to get through 9 squares here.
Bengals, you could do Terrell Owens, right? Did he play for the Bengals? Pretty sure he did.
Yeah, we could do what about Marquise Goodwin, wide receiver, Marquise Goodwin.
For which box?
That one.
Okay, that's
Seattle and Buffalo. He did
Percy Harvin, Seattle and Buffalo.
Percy Harvin. Did he play for Buffalo? I don't remember him with the Bills.
I think so.
All right, what do we think? We got a lot of shout outs here.
Terrence
Percy Harvin,
Newman, Dallas and Cincinnati. Terrence Newman.
All right, Terrence Newman, Dallas and Cincinnati. We're going
no Googling, guys.
Come on, we got to stay in order. All right, 2%. That's a good one. I'm going to go with Marquise Goodwin. For Buffalo, that's a 1%. Good start, guys. Good start. All right, we need a
Noah says Steven Hauschka for the upper left.
Yeah, I thought about it, but I feel like that was kind of we already filled upper left. So we need a Seahawk and a Bengal. Seahawk and a Bengal. If anybody has one of those, Seahawk and a Bengal. And then we can also think, Austin, Seahawk Super Bowl champion. We have to go to those teams. Malcolm Smith. Do we hate Malcolm Smith? Super Bowl MVP Malcolm Smith?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very, he was the MVP, but nobody's going to remember that.
Yeah, Malcolm Smith. Who else could you be that's a really deep cut from that team?
Oh, you could do like Steve Hutchinson. Didn't Steve Hutchinson play offensive line for that? No, that was
No,
he's too old.
that was like 2015. Steve Hutchinson was not around. Well, Steve Hutchinson was already in the Hall of Fame by the time that team.
Ooh, Pac-Man Jones for Dallas and Cincy.
He played for. We already did Dallas and Cincy with Terrence Newman.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we guys, let's stay focused here.
I'm just reading good answers.
We need a Seahawk Bengal. Seahawk / Bengal. That's what we're looking for. I'm going to go ahead and put in Malcolm Smith.
That's fine.
That's 4%. That's a good answer for
Matt says post an update.
All right, we're going to come with an update. So you guys think of that.
Bengal and Seahawk?
We need a Bengal and a Seahawk.
Noah's saying TJ Hushmanzada.
If he played, I'd like that one.
Dwight says Josh Brown, the kicker.
Josh Brown, the kicker. I don't remember a kicker. I know.
Ooh, then there's Andre says Jermaine Gresham, tight end. Did he play for
the
Seattle?
TJ
Hushmanzada, I think is a good one. I think you just fill in TJ Hushmanzada.
Did Hushmanzada do it? Do we know that for sure?
Yeah. Jermaine Gresham is probably good too.
Hushmanzada, 41%. Oof.
Bummer.
It's a big one. All right. Well, we need Dallas. So Dallas and Buffalo. Cole Beasley, first one that comes to mind there. Let's see. Yeah. And then we're going to need a Dallas Super Bowl champion as well.
Yeah, we need Billy or one of our experienced viewers to give us a cowboy from the 70s.
Yeah, well, think about those Super Bowl teams.
Josh Norman for Bills and Washington. That's probably pretty easy.
All right, let's just do it. I mean, we're gonna have to go here. So
yeah,
Josh Norman, 6%, not bad.
Oh, okay.
Washington. So we need Dallas and Buffalo, guys. We need
Dallas and Buffalo could be that. The Terrell Owens is the easiest one.
Leon Lett.
Nate
that's
Newton.
For what, Super Bowl champ?
Yeah, Nate Newton for Cowboys Super Bowl champs, probably better.
All right, we'll do that. Nate Newton. 1%. Great answer.
Nice.
Let's go, Nick. All right.
You want to give us an update?
Yep, I'll get the update going. You guys think of a cowboy and a Bill, guys. We need a
Noah
cowboy
says
and a
Peerless
Bill.
Price for Dallas and Bills. Jay says Drew Bledsoe for Dallas and Bills, but I don't think Drew Bledsoe would be rare enough.
No, I want to avoid
quarterbacks.
So here's what we've got.
Okay.
We need 3 more. Peerless Price. I'm going to do that one because, I mean, that's 0.5%. Great answer from the chat there. Washington and the Bengals and a Washington Super Bowl champ. We could do Timmy Smith for a Washington Super Bowl champ.
I have no idea who it is.
He scored like 2 touchdowns in their last Super Bowl.
Their last Super Bowl was a long time ago.
True, but
if you want to go, I mean, Timmy Smith, sure, do it.
Washington, Buffalo, we already have, right? Yeah. We need Washington and Cincinnati, guys. So Washington and Cincinnati. Mr. Jones says Will Compton. He did not play for the Bengals, unfortunately.
Fitzpatrick?
Fitz works, but Fitz is like the go-to guy here, I feel like.
Mark Rippon for the
Timmy Smith works for 2%.
Okay, so you got that one?
Yep, we've got it. So we just need a Washington, Cincinnati player. Washington and Cincinnati. Trying to think of
back.
Hmm?
Trying to think defensive back.
Yeah, it feels like there would be a defensive back here. And I don't know. Yeah.
Did Albert Hainsworth play for Cincinnati? No.
Vernon Davis didn't play for the Bengals, I don't think.
Jason Campbell? I mean, London Fletcher's a good one, but I think London Fletcher's probably too popular.
Yeah, I feel yeah, they're saying or a linebacker. Yeah, I feel like there's a linebacker and like there's
Eli Apple did not play for Washington. Ooh, Lavernius Coles for no.
Well, I like that one. That's a TD answer right there. He likes Lavernius Coles. Let's go with it. Got it, 2%. So our score 59. The Hushmanzada answer blew us up by 47
good though.
points.
That's our best one by
But
far.
a 59 score is a new record for the chat. Give yourself a round of applause. Good job, everybody. That was good teamwork. We had 1%, 3%, 2%, 1%, 0.7%, 6%, 4%, 2% on 8 of our 9 answers. That's good stuff, guys.
All right. Well, we're getting better at this. All right. So we're gonna keep seeing how well we can do this. And
might have to work on some screen sharing or something.
Yeah, we'll work on that. I've got some time today. We can work on some screen sharing stuff. So we'll get that rolling. I think this is fun. It's easier for us to set up, but we'll see how it goes. But 59% so far our record. By the way, tomorrow we've got a Titan Game Day Live announcement for upcoming game on Sunday, which should be a lot of fun. So get ready for that Titan Game Day Live announcement Thursday morning. And also, before you guys head out of here, you got to do one thing for us. That's like the show. Please hit that thumbs up button on Facebook, on YouTube. More people watch and hit the like button. We need more people to hit the like button because that helps us out tremendously. And we'll see you guys tomorrow on a Thursday Buck Rising Live tonight for A to Z Sports Primetime. Appreciate it as always.